The K239 Chunmoo, aka KMLRS, is the rising star of the multiple rocket launcher system, shortly MLRS, in the international market. It is even towering the HIMARS to some degree. Why has the K239 abruptly come to the fore? What are the features that put the Chunmoo ahead of its competitors? As the weapon detective, we are now investigating the K239, another success story from the South Korean defense industry. The K239 Chunmoo has been a lesser-known military system until this year, but it is now at the top of the agenda with 3 major acquisition programs. To better understand this wind of change, let's briefly look at the historical background and technical features of the K239. In the early 1970s, the South Korean Army, or Republic of Korea Army, ROKA for short, began to seek an MLRS to encounter the North Korean 122mm BM-21 Grad and its local derivatives. The USA, the primary arms supplier of South Korea at that time, had no such system. So, Seoul decided to develop an MLRS indigenously. The ROKA took the fruit of this program, the 130mm 36-barreled K136 Kulyun, into service in 1981. Its K30 rocket's 23 km range was longer than the BM-21, which was less than 21 km. But in the mid-1980s, the North Korean Army, or the Korean People's Army, KPA for short, introduced the 240mm artillery rockets with 65 km range. To encounter the new threat, Seoul first tried to acquire the 220mm Uragans and 300mm Smirchs from Russia in the mid-1990s. Russia had previously given South Korea T-80s, BMP-3s, and Ka-27s to pay off some of its debt. But this time, Moscow refused the request. So, South Korea purchased the M270s and ATACMS missiles from the USA in the early 2000s. Thanks to this deal, the local Hanwha company also began to produce the ATACMS parts under license from Lockheed Martin. It has provided a significant technology transfer for the future South Korean artillery rocket program. The development phase of the new MLRS to replace the K136 began in 2009. Hanwha was responsible for the rockets, the South Korean Agency for Defense Development for the launcher, and the Tucson DST for the vehicle. It would have the capability of firing both medium and big caliber rockets. The development of the K239 Chunmoo was completed in 2013. Initial production was carried out in 2014, and the new MLRS entered into the ROKA service in 2015. 1 year later, Hanwha acquired the Tucson DST and became the sole supplier. Each launch vehicle, called K239L, is paired with a K239T ammunition support vehicle, which carries 4 reload pods. They share the same truck, which reduces maintenance burden and costs. An ROKA Chunmoo battery consists of 18 MLRS and 1 K277 command post vehicle. The K239 has 2 launch pods which can fire different caliber rockets. Each pod can carry 20 130mm, 6 230mm, or 6 239mm rockets. The MLRS can simultaneously be fitted with 2 separate pods carrying different caliber rockets. These rockets are placed in sealed pods in the factory. Thus, they are free from the adverse effects of the sun, dust, rain, etc., and can be stored without any maintenance for years. The K239 can fire all 130mm artillery rocket types used in the K136, such as the 22 km ranged K37, 23 km ranged K30, 30 km ranged K38, and 36 km range K33. The 230mm KM26A2 is a modified variant of the 227mm M26 unguided rocket used with the M270. Its range is 45 km. The 239mm rockets have 2 variants, the unguided one with 80 km range and the GPS INS guided with 160 km range. Their fuse has impact and delay mode options. Thanks to the delay mode, the rocket can be effective against bunkers, which the KPA has numerous of them, along the demilitarized zone. The guided variant has a circular error probable of 10 to 15 meters. In June 2022, the South Korean Agency for Defense Development revealed a new 239mm rocket variant, which would have the same 200 km range as the KPA's 300mm KN-90. But the North Koreans already have rockets with 300 km range. According to Hanwha Defense's K239 Chunmoo promotional video, the MLRS would launch 400 and 600mm rockets whose development work is in progress. The K239 can be fitted with a pod carrying different caliber rockets, such as 122mm on demand. The MLRS has a fast reaction time and can begin to fire within several minutes after stopping. 4 hydraulic jacks are lowered on the ground to stabilize the vehicle in the firing position. The launchers have a traverse of 360 degrees. A full salvo takes 1 minute and saturates an area in the size of 3 football fields. The MLRS has a load lifting device. Its reloading time is 7 to 10 minutes. The 8x8 track chassis of the K239, supported by central tire inflation system, has relatively good off-road mobility. Initially, the ROKA had requested the Chunmoo to be an MLRS with high strategic mobility capable of being transported by the C-130. However, later it abandoned this demand due to the priority given to the ballistic protection. The crew of the K239 can control all the firing operations from inside the armored cabin, which is resistant to small arms and shell splinters. There is also a remote control option. The vehicle has CBRN protection. Yet, all launch units and the related subsystems can be fitted on another suitable truck. If requested, a machine gun can be mounted on the armored cabin. There is also a firing port on each door. Poland, South Korea, and the United Arab Emirates have already chosen the K239. The MLRS is still under consideration in Australia and Norway. The K239 has a 3-person crew consisting of a commander, operator, and driver. The MLRS has a length of 9 meters, a width of 2.9 meters, and a height of 3.3 meters. Its weight is 31,000 kilograms without the pods. The 450 horsepower Hyundai Tucson Impracco DV11K diesel engine provides a road speed of up to 80 km per hour. Its range is 450 km. The K239 can negotiate 1.4 meter trenches and can ford to a depth of 1.2 meters. The 130mm medium-range rockets of the K239 give an essential capability to the ROKA. In a possible war on the Korean Peninsula, the ROKA will have to encounter the 4th largest army in the world, the KPA ground force, which has nearly 1 million soldiers, over 4,000 tanks, over 8,500 artillery pieces, and about 5,500 MLRS. The South Koreans need the saturation attack capability against such a human, armor, and firepower storm. Together with the K9 self-propelled howitzers, the K239 with the 130mm rockets can create a fire set to hold a possible massive KPA attack. Also, the long-range 230 and 239mm rockets of the Chunmoo can paralyze the North Korean command and communication capabilities and logistic lines and destroy the artillery and air defense batteries. We should not forget that in 2003, the US Army announced redeploying its 2nd Infantry Division in Korea southward. The K239 has taken over the long-range artillery defense mission against the KPA from the 210th Field Artillery Brigade of this US division. So, South Korea needed to develop an MLRS such as the Chunmoo. The K239 offers about twice the firepower as the HIMARS, which has proved its effectiveness in Ukraine. The guided rockets of the HIMARS have a range of less than 100 kilometers. Its GMLRS rockets can reach a distance of 150 kilometers. So the 160 kilometers range 239mm guided rockets of the K239 offer an extended strike capability. Of course, the range of the ATACMS missile is 300 kilometers. But the South Koreans are working on a new rocket with a similar capability. So, the K239 offers more firepower than the HIMARS and more or less the same capability in terms of range. But it has some significant advantages over its rival in the international market. Since the end of the First Cold War, the Western defense industries have become profit-oriented due to the reduced risk of war. This has increased the costs dramatically. But South Korea, which is under imminent risk of war, can produce weapon systems at more affordable prices. Also, supporting Ukraine in its war effort is depleting the weapon stocks of the US Army. Therefore, the US companies have to prioritize production for their own countries. The increased demand also increases the costs and delivery time. This vicious cycle affects their hands in the international markets negatively. On the other hand, South Korea can deliver a modern and effective MLRS in a shorter time and at lower costs. Besides, the USA has a more conservative policy than South Korea regarding technology transfer and industrial cooperation. So, South Korea managed to sell 300 K239s to Poland, which had ordered 20 HIMARS. Initially, Warsaw wanted to acquire more HIMARS, but the USA could not grant such a deal at an affordable price and in a short time. Poland has a large MLRS fleet on paper, but it is known that it sold many RM-70s and BM-21s to Czechia and donated some of them to other countries. Many former 122mm MLRS of the Polish land forces are being used in Ukraine today. Poland also has the locally produced WR-40 Langustas, whose 122mm rockets have a more extended range than the 130mm rockets of the K239. But probably the rocket pods of the new Polish Chunmoos will be reconfigured into locally developed 122mm rockets, and they will be fitted on Poland-made Yelts trucks. So, we can say that the Polish land forces chose the K239 for its 230 and 239mm rockets. After opening a production line in Poland, we may begin to see this MLRS and its rockets in Ukraine. Hanwha is also negotiating with the Norwegian Kongsberg about a possible integration of the NSM anti-ship missile on the K239. So the Chunmoo will also have the potential to strengthen the land-based anti-surface warfare capability of Poland, which already has the NSMs. Speaking of Norway, this country already has the South Korean K9s and is considering acquiring the K239 now. Also, this month, South Korea offered the K239 to Australia, which plans to acquire 20 HIMARS. In Norway and Australia, the K239 has the same advantages over the HIMARS: lower costs, shorter delivery time, and higher industrial cooperation opportunities. This MLRS undoubtedly represents another achievement of the South Korean defense industry. We may say that thanks to the new artillery concept proven by HIMARS in Ukraine, the K239 gains new customers and beats its rival in the international market. The profit-oriented policy of the Western defense companies causes this ironic situation. Thanks for watching our video, and please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click the bell button to be notified of our new videos. Also, you can now click the join button to support our channel. And as always, we would greatly appreciate all of your likes, comments, and shares.